Have you ever felt that sudden fear? When your legs wobble just a little too much getting out of bed? Or when you hesitate before stepping off a curb, just in case you might lose your balance? That tiny moment of doubt? It's not just in your head. It's real and far more common than you think. According to the CDC, 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls every single year. And here's the part most people don't realize. If you've fallen once, your chances of falling again actually double. These aren't just little stumbles. 1 out of 5 falls leads to a serious injury, like a broken bone or even a head injury. And yet, so many of these falls are preventable. You don't need fancy gym equipment. You don't need to run or lift heavy weights. What you do need is daily movement, simple, steady exercises that quietly rebuild the strength in your legs, your balance, and your confidence. That's exactly what we're going to do today. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 easy movements, ones you can do right at home, that help protect you from falls, strengthen the muscles that keep you upright, and bring a little more freedom back into every step you take. If you've ever thought, I just don't want to be that person who ends up in the hospital from a fall, then this video is for you. Now, let's begin with one of the simplest, but most powerful, leg strengthening habits. You don't even need to leave your chair. Ready? Let's start with something incredibly simple, but deeply powerful. All you need is a chair. This movement is called the sit to stand, and it mimics something you already do every single day, getting up and sitting down. But here's the truth. Most people overlook. The ability to stand up from a chair without using your hands is one of the strongest indicators of lower body strength, and how likely you are to stay independent as you age. I remember one gentleman, Mr. Raymond, a 72-year-old retired postman. He told me he didn't realize how weak his legs had become until the day he couldn't get up from his favorite armchair without pushing off with both hands and grunting. "It snuck up on me," he said. "I thought I was just tired, but I was losing strength." The sit to stand isn't just an exercise. It's a way to wake your thigh muscles, your glutes, and your hips. Those exact muscles that keep you steady when walking, climbing stairs, or simply standing for more than a minute. Here's how you can start, right now. Find a sturdy chair with a firm seat and no wheels. Sit tall, feet flat on the floor, knees over your ankles. Now gently press through your heels and stand up. No hands if you can. Then lower yourself slowly, in control, back down. That's 1 repetition. It may seem easy at first, or it may surprise you with how much effort it takes. Either way, that's your body waking up. Do just 8 to 10 repetitions a day to begin. Not to work out, but to reclaim your legs, 1 motion at a time. And if getting up without your hands feels too hard today, that's okay. Use your arms for support, but focus on standing slowly and with purpose. Strength returns with repetition. Now that we've started activating the big support muscles, let's move lower, toward your calves, which often get neglected but are absolutely vital for your circulation and balance. You might not think much about your calves until the day you trip on a small step or feel unsteady on uneven ground. But these muscles at the back of your lower legs are more important than most people realize, especially after 70. They act like little heart pumps in your legs. Every time you walk, stand, or shift your weight, your calves help push blood back up toward your heart. But when these muscles weaken or stiffen, which naturally happens with age, you lose both strength and circulation. That's where the heel raise comes in. It's simple, but don't let that fool you. It's a quiet powerhouse of a move. I once met a woman named Linda, 74, who had stopped going for her morning walks because she kept feeling like her feet were heavy and slow. My legs just don't push off the ground like they used to, she said. I showed her this one small movement, and within 2 weeks she noticed her steps felt lighter and her legs didn't cramp as easily. Here's how you can do it. Stand behind a chair or near a counter for support. Place your feet about hip-width apart. Slowly lift your heels, rising up onto the balls of your feet. Imagine you're trying to reach a little higher without using your arms. Hold for 2 seconds, then slowly lower your heels back to the floor. It's that simple. But when done daily, this small movement improves blood flow, strengthens your calf muscles, and most importantly, trains your body to push off the ground with power when you walk. Try 10 to 15 repetitions. If your balance feels shaky, keep your fingertips resting gently on a table or chair. Over time, you may find you need less support, and that's a great sign of progress. And if your ankles feel tight or your legs start to shake, don't be discouraged. That means your muscles are re-engaging after a long rest. Once your calves start doing their job again, you'll feel more grounded, more supported. And that's just the beginning. Now let's take a seat again, because the next move works a different but equally important part of your lower legs, one that helps prevent those scary little stumbles over rugs, curbs, or uneven floors. Now let's talk about something you don't hear much about, but it could save you from a nasty fall: the front of your lower legs. These are the muscles just beside your shins. They help you lift your toes when you walk, especially when you're stepping forward or over something small. And when they get weak or sluggish, which they often do after 60, you might start dragging your feet without even noticing. That's how it starts. You catch your toe on a rug, or a doorway, or a step that's just an inch higher than the others, and suddenly, down you go. One of my dear friends, Joseph, 69, had a fall in his kitchen from nothing more than a corner of a bath mat. It wasn't even a big trip, he told me, but my foot didn't lift fast enough. It was like it got stuck in slow motion. So I taught him toe taps. He laughed at first. That's it? But 2 weeks in, he told me his feet felt lighter and more responsive. I'm not shuffling anymore, he said. Here's how it works. Sit down in a firm chair. Keep your heels planted flat on the floor. Now, gently start lifting the front of your feet, just your toes, off the ground, and then lower them again. Tap up and down in a steady rhythm for 30 to 60 seconds. What you're doing is gently reawakening the muscles that lift your feet during each step, so your toes clear the floor, not drag on it. And you'll be surprised. After a few rounds, you might feel a slight burn or even tightness along the front of your shin. That's a good sign. It means those sleepy little muscles are waking up. Do this daily, maybe while watching the news or having your tea. It takes less than a minute, but the reward is freedom. Freedom to walk confidently without fearing what's underfoot. Once your feet and ankles are more responsive, it's time to build up something even more crucial: your balance. Because strength is one thing, but staying upright when the world shifts around you is something else entirely. Let's talk about balance, not the kind you get from yoga or fancy poses, but the everyday kind. The kind that keeps you steady when someone bumps into you in the grocery store, or when you have to reach down to pick something up from the floor. After 70, your ability to balance becomes one of the strongest predictors of how long you can live independently. And yet, many seniors don't even realize it's fading, until it's too late. There's a simple way to test it right now. Stand up and try lifting one foot off the ground. Just a little. Can you hold it for 10 seconds? 15? Or do you immediately wobble or grab onto something? I remember Ellen, a sharp and spirited 76-year-old who lived alone. One day, she told me she almost fell while putting on her slippers. Not walking, not running, just standing on one leg for a moment too long. I felt like my body didn't catch up with my brain, she said. That was her wake-up call. So we started doing single-leg stances every day. And within just a few weeks, she was not only steadier, but more confident. I don't dread stairs anymore, she told me with a smile. Here's how to do it safely. Stand near a wall, a kitchen counter, or the back of a chair. Something sturdy. Shift your weight onto one foot, then gently lift the other foot off the ground. It doesn't need to go high, just off the floor. Hold it there for 10 to 15 seconds. Then switch sides. At first, you might feel shaky. That's completely normal. Balance isn't just about muscles. It's about your brain, your nerves, and your reflexes, all learning to communicate again. Do this 2 to 3 times on each side every day. You can even do it while brushing your teeth or waiting for your tea to steep. Over time, your body will start reacting faster. Your ankles will become more responsive. Your hips will stabilize you. And your fear of falling? It starts to fade. Now that your balance is waking up, let's get the whole body moving in sync. Because your legs don't walk alone. They work with your hips, your core, your arms, everything. And that connection matters more than you think. There's something almost childlike about marching in place. It reminds us of school days, music class, or simply having energy to burn. But don't let the simplicity fool you. This movement is one of the best ways to reconnect your lower body to your upper body and remind your brain how to coordinate it all together. After 70, it's not just weak muscles that lead to falls, it's the disconnection between the mind and the movement. The brain sends the signal to lift the leg, but the hip hesitates. The foot responds late. The balance doesn't catch up. That half-second delay can be the difference between staying upright or falling forward. That's exactly what happened to Richard, 75, a retired mechanic with strong legs but poor coordination. It wasn't that I couldn't walk, he said. It's that I'd bump into doorways. I'd lose my rhythm. I looked drunk even though I hadn't had a drink in 10 years. So we started marching, just in place. Slowly at first. Lift one knee, then the other, with a little music in the background. After a week, he noticed something. My feet know what to do again. Here's how you can do it safely. Stand tall near a sturdy surface for support if needed. Begin slowly lifting one knee toward your waist, then lower it and lift the other. You don't need to go fast or high, just enough that your body has to shift and respond. Aim for 20 to 30 steps. Move with control, not momentum. You'll feel your hip flexors working, your thighs activating. Even your arms might naturally start swinging. That's perfect. That's the body waking up and moving together again. And the more you do it, the more your walking will feel smoother, lighter, and more intentional. You'll notice fewer stumbles, better posture, and more energy just from this one little habit. Once you feel steady with marching, we can go one step further, literally. Let's start engaging your outer hips and side stability, so you're strong even when moving in unexpected directions. Walking forward is easy to practice. But what about the moments when you need to step to the side? Like moving over in the kitchen, getting into the car, or stepping down off a curb. That's when your side stability comes into play, and most people ignore it until their hips start to wobble or their knees feel unstable. Side leg raises are one of the most effective and gentle ways to strengthen the muscles that keep you centered, not just the front or back of your legs, but your outer hips. These muscles don't just support you when walking. They act like stabilizers when your body shifts unexpectedly. I worked with a woman named Barbara, 78, who had a beautiful garden, but she'd stopped tending it because every time she stepped sideways, she felt like she'd lose her balance. "I don't trust my legs when I'm not walking straight," she told me. So we introduced side leg raises, just a few each day. By the end of the month, she was not only back in her garden, but bending, reaching, and stepping over stones without holding on to anything. You can start right now. Stand near a wall or chair for support. Shift your weight gently onto one leg and slowly raise the other leg to the side, just a foot or so off the ground. Keep your toes pointed forward, not upward. Hold for a moment. Then bring your foot back down, steady and slow. It may feel awkward at first. That's normal. These muscles don't get used much in everyday life, especially if you don't walk often or tend to move cautiously. But the more you practice this motion, the more stable and grounded you'll feel in all directions, not just forward. Aim for 10 times on each side. Go slow. If you feel a little burn in the side of your hips, you're doing it right. And remember, this isn't about looking graceful. It's about building quiet, deep strength that protects you when life pulls you sideways. Now that we've activated your hips and improved your side-to-side control, it's time to focus on the final piece, your ankles. Because no matter how strong your legs are, if your ankles are stiff or weak, they can take you down in a second. Your ankles are like hinges on a door, small, often ignored, but absolutely essential. They help you pivot, adjust, and recover when you slip or shift. But here's what surprises many seniors. After 70, your ankles can quietly stiffen, weaken, or lose flexibility without you even realizing it. Until one day, you step on uneven ground and twist. I remember Mr. Howard, 81, a proud grandfather who never missed his evening walk. One afternoon, he stepped off a curb, just slightly off balance, and his ankle gave out. It wasn't broken, but the sprain took weeks to heal. "I didn't think ankles mattered at my age," he said. "Turns out, they matter more than ever." That's why ankle circles are such a hidden gem. They're gentle, they're easy, but they retrain your joints to stay flexible and responsive, so they move with you, not against you. Here's how to do it. Sit in a comfortable chair with your back straight. Lift one foot slightly off the ground, just enough so it can move freely. Now, slowly begin to rotate your foot at the ankle, making full, smooth circles. Clockwise first. Then switch to counterclockwise. Do about 10 circles in each direction. Then switch legs. It might feel like nothing at first, but if your ankle feels stiff, makes little clicking sounds, or gets tired quickly, that's a sign those joints need this more than you think. You can do this while watching TV, talking on the phone, or winding down before bed. The movement helps keep the ligaments loose, encourages blood flow, and strengthens the tiny stabilizing muscles around your foot and ankle. Over time, you'll notice it's easier to adjust your step when the ground is uneven. Your foot won't roll inward as easily, and your chances of sudden twists or sprains, they drop dramatically. By bringing your ankles back into the equation, you've now activated your entire lower body. Hips, thighs, knees, calves, feet, and toes. These 7 movements may seem small, but together, they build a powerful foundation for staying upright, mobile, and independent. And now that you've reconnected with your body, let's close this out with something just as important: reconnecting with your confidence. You've just done something powerful, more powerful than you might realize. Not just because you moved your legs, or practiced balance, or stretched your ankles, but because you chose to show up for yourself today. That decision, to move, to care, to strengthen, that's what keeps you young. Not the number on your birthday cake. Growing older doesn't mean giving up control. It means learning new ways to stay in it. And every one of these small daily moves, they're not just exercises. They're quiet acts of resistance, of resilience, of saying, I'm not done yet. I hope you feel proud, not only of your body, but of your mindset, because it's never too late to get stronger.